time no see. Long time no see. We are die rolling. We're a group of intrepid British adventurers, but we won't be British for this evening. We'll be taking you to the magical world of Asher, where we'll be enjoying hijinks, general tomfoolery. If you want to know what happened, just get yourself onto YouTube. You don't want to hear me talking about it. A giant fish was involved, sphincters, yeah. Generally, everyone had a great time. But I'll introduce where you find yourself shortly afterwards. But before that, unless someone else has got anything more interesting to say than that, we should roll the intro, I think.
Pink lemonade?
Mom!
$17, I'm going to say.
2017, that late?
When
I
did
knew
you-
you in 2017. That can't have been true.
It was
Special. Subscribe for our Patreon.
Yeah, to get...
Rich is going to sing Limp Bizkit Rollin'
Yeah.
I could
for
try. I could try.
10 shillings.
I thought you were going to say 10 minutes. 10
Non-stop for
10
10 minutes.
solid minutes of Rich singing Die Rolling. If you subscribe to
Die
Patreon.
Rollin'.
Die rolling.
What did I say? Die Rolling. Rolling. Yes!
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
New theme song.
That's all we're going to be doing for the next hour. So I hope you signed up for Die Rolling, Rolling.
But only if you pay on the Patreon.
Only if you pay on the Patreon. We'll wait for you to do that.
Otherwise they'll have to watch D&D.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Nobody wants to do
I got a doozy for you. Lovely. We are down one adventurer. I'll explain where they are.
Technically two.
Very
Down.
short.
Bye, Josh, if you're there.
If you're watching at home, Josh, we miss you.
He's only over the road.
Please like and subscribe.
We could just go and
We can pick up the camera.
just film it in his
Take
house.
it to his door.
What is it, Jeremy Beadle? Fire in.
I
British
love that
reference,
idea.
that.
That's what we're doing. We're doing next week.
While Rich sings Rollin'.
While Rich sings Rolling. You will remember, intrepid adventurers, that last time you were inside a very large fish.
That's very brave of you to think that I might remember that.
It was a long time ago.
Very optimistic.
After some hijinks, shall we say, the fish seemed to undulate and move, and there was a lot of making sure you guys were in the right place at the right time. It now is apparent why the fish was struggling so much, because you've been hauled upon deck, upon land, shall we say, you've been hauled upon land, you were vomited forth onto said land, and you find yourself surrounded by what can be fairly adequately described as a shantytown. There are wooden huts and buildings on different levels, some fairly low down and some fairly high up, most of them on stilts that kind of back into the water. And when you look around you, what you're actually noticing is sort of behind you, looking further out to the pool, is a relatively small pool, probably only kind of 200 feet across. Very, very dark water, so you'd believe that this thing goes really deep. And you're actually at the foot of a mountain. It's really hard for you to place your bearings. You're welcome to try, but you're at the foot of a mountain. And this shoreline, if you like, around this very deep, dark pool, is surrounded by these wooden huts. Where this gigantic creature has been hauled up to, there's actually a very long carved there's no kind of beach. It's more like stone in the foot of the mountain, a rocky stone. And there's almost like a gully that's been carved into the stone deliberately for this purpose. And at the end, you see a very large wooden mechanical winch. It's fairly
This has been
crude.
caught, has it? This little fishy.
Caught and hauled. If you look behind you, you see the incredibly large, ugly face of this fish. And in its mouth is a gigantic hook that's hooked into its lip, and it's been hiked up. You've noticed that as it's got further towards the shore, there are other kind of harpoons and hooks and various things that have been hauled. And hanging on to the opposite end of the rope of these harpoons are several fairly burly individuals. Those of you who are used to human culture will recognise all of them as humans. And those of you who are half-elves or elves will recognise that there are a couple of half-elves here or there. There are no pure elves, but a couple of half-elves here or there. But if you're not used to elven culture, you probably wouldn't notice. They seem fairly alarmed, mainly because you've all been vomited forth alive from this creature. You look around and you don't see Caston amongst you. You definitely saw him leave the fish. You saw him observe, looking around, and that there's a lot of people, and dart away. So you know that he's safely outside of the fish, but he's no longer with you anymore. And you find yourself vomited forth onto land in front of all these people looking around, fairly startled to see you.
Is this music actually happening as well?
Hello.
Yeah, there's a small
There is a
banner
little-
band.
Yeah.
It's
Pretty fantastic, yeah.
Well, they would be celebrating such a huge catch.
exactly. Yeah, so people
This is the
were
start-
undulators
The
before.
start of the party.
Yeah, exactly.
Are the kids playing football on the beach?
There
Is it-
are actually.
they're playing
Is it
football in
as
the
serene as this music makes out?
I didn't check what you said.
Isn't this
assumed
serene
you
and
wanted-
pleasant of a
Yeah.
little village that we've arrived
I
at?
think if anything, the music sharply juxtaposes.
Okay, this is not a holiday destination.
No,
I'm getting
quite-
holiday
quite the-
vibes.
yeah, quite the
Okinawa,
opposite.
something like that.
Yeah, fairly cold, grey, drab environment filled with wooden shanty huts.
Okay,
You
okay.
do
Some of
notice-
the best film moments have very strong juxtapositions
Exactly.
of music.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is. And now that you look around, you specifically mentioned kids. And
Yeah.
there aren't. You notice there aren't any amongst the group in front of you. Like I said, they're fairly burly individuals.
Okay.
And the majority, probably about 75% of them, are men. There are a few women here or there as well, hauling this thing up. It does seem to be like the majority of the strong populace of this small village is there, probably about 20, 30 strong. There are kids thereabouts, and you notice them kind of mostly stood around watching what's happening. This is obviously quite an exciting event. But occasionally as you look up, you see individuals in huts with very small children. So they are kind of dotted about the place. None of the kids seem to be playing right now, probably because there was this large fish hauled out of the pool, right? It was quite an exciting
Dinner.
thing. Yeah, absolutely.
What are these things?
Hello. Said it in Undercommon, maybe?
Undercommon.
I'll try Undercommon.
They look a little bit startled actually when you use that.
Give them an ahoy.
Do you guys speak? Comes through as common.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Oh, great! That's really good. If you don't mind telling me what the hell's going on, that'd be quite nice.
Where are we?
My God, you're an elf.
Yes.
What were you doing there?
Well, quite obviously we were swallowed.
My lady, welcome. Right. What? I don't.
Where are we?
Oh, well, you're well, you're quite in the middle of nowhere, really. This is Dark Point. Not many know Dark Point.
Anything new?
No. What are we? Where are we near?
What's the name of that mountain?
The mountain.
The mountain, yeah.
No surprise.
Oh, we call it Gardonin.
Gardonin.
Oh, we've heard that before.
Yeah, that was
that
the
That rings a bell.
It does ring a
I
bell.
think you
of
have to use the customary antlers.
one of the dwarf mountains. So it's a service
it?
station just
Sorry.
past Bridgewater.
So yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, very nice service station. Go on. Well, down then.
It's full of dwarves, though.
Good stopping off point for Bristol.
There is a large car park.
And what happens at Dark Point?
Well, with fish, don't we? Fish. Well, not like this, not anymore. We haven't caught something like this in a long time.
Do you have contact with elsewhere?
Oh, aye, yeah. Yeah, elsewhere, yeah. Well, we were on way to Shadecat, and also the gnomes, and the elves when we get to work.
And with whom do you trade?
Whoever's buying, you know?
Yes. And who is usually buying?
While we're at it, if anyone wants to make a history, or you could do a nature check if you want, you could probably do a survival check to figure out where you are in physical space. All of those things are permissible. Sorry, I missed that last one.
With whom do you normally trade?
Well, we're not like a trading destination, you know, we've got to go out and find the work. We tend to do the fishing, see what we get, and sell what we can, you know. It's getting less and less these days.
Yes. And
Cave fish aren't what most people care to eat, you know, civilised folk.
Quite a haul you've got here, though.
Oh, we haven't caught one of these in, gosh, near... Oh, years, longer than I can count. There used to be hundreds of them down there, hence the winch.
they might have some parasites. I'd be careful of those.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm not surprised. It's probably what's killing them off in the first place, isn't it? It's a
Now,
bloke fish. Or a bloke whale if you're a child.
now, if you happen to know a location named Stiltmire's Cavalcade of Contraptions for Conflict, Confrontation and Outright Combat,
Well, yeah, I've heard of it.
would you know where that might be?
Well, yeah. Set up about 10 days ago.
What came through here?
No, I set up in the valley.
Oh, right, okay.
Which direction is he pointing?
Behind him. Directly behind him.
Which direction is Shade
As
Cap?
a compass point, roughly which direction?
You don't know which way is north. Unless you know
Valid.
which way is north.
Yeah. Should make a survival roll to try and infer that.
So that's the direction for Stiltmires. Which way is Shade Cap?
Shade Cat.
Hmm.
I'm just writing directions down before he does his roll.
It was 16.
16. He's pointing roughly northerly, you say. That information will get you that you are, thinking about it logically, as you came up to Gordon in the first place at the highway, you've almost seemed to have gone under it, taken a 90-degree turn to the left, and come out somewhere on that side. So you've somehow managed to traverse the mountain underneath it. Sorry, mate, I didn't quite catch that. Your accent's a bit funny.
You say Stiltmires is that way?
God, I know that accent. You're from the big one, you know, with all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get some of you round here, don't we?
Do you?
Well, yeah. Those that break away, you know. Well, you see, a lot of the folk round here who come to settle here, like, are meant to come through up the ways there to Shadecat. You know, them that aren't due to come back, you know. Too big to get rid of, too little to let thrive, you know. Well, they're often strong workers, but if they slip their bounds, Dark Point's where they end up.
So,
What the hell did you just say?
so a lot of
Oh,
you.
right, you're a bit of a funny one, aren't you? Strong arms, though. What you got on you? What you got around your neck there? What's that?
I can't understand him. What's he saying?
He's asking what that is around your neck.
I speak a bit of gnomish. You're big for a gnome.
I'm Robert Wesley.
You're a Wesley.
Wesley Debenham.
Well, Mr. Debenham, glad to make your acquaintance.
And yours. Ahoy!
Oh,
I think that's what you say
to
to
you
the
too.
sailors, isn't it? You a sailor?
Yes.
What are they?
And what's your name,
Ah, I
sir?
haven't even seen the sea. Sorry?
What's your name, sir?
My name? Let me look at this piece of paper. Oh, Arthur. Arthur and the half, if you like. Or just the half, or just halfy. That'll do it.
That's an odd name.
Well, no, I was almost cut in half.
Right.
Yeah, we strained the winch there way back when. Broke the chain. You can see where we spot welded it. Came straight down. They thought they'd cut me in half.
Nasty.
Oh, he managed to save me in the end.
Yeah.
Tough old blighter, aren't I?
You're good with the old medicine around here, then?
Nah, not especially.
Or just sewing people back together?
Yeah, mostly that. Well, there's a lot of people seeing violence, you know.
Hmm.
Hence why they're not regular work and all that.
Yeah. I see.
Not me, like. I grew up round
Born
here.
and bred, huh?
Oh, that's it. Well, not at Dark Point. Nobody's born. Well, some people are born in Dark Point. But won't recommend it.
How did you end up here?
Well, not many people choose this life, not born to it, like I say, but I'm just a bit of a traveller, you know, don't like living under the thumb, you know, no disrespect intended. But I'm on the other side of the wall of your lot, you know? You guys keep to your own, I keep to mine.
Yes.
Your lady? Your ladyship?
No need.
But yeah, if you're after the cavalcade, they did check in a little while ago. We was worried, but they seem all right. Funny little lot, though.
Why were you worried?
Wow. A lot of fuss, isn't it? A lot of people come to visit. You know, all kinds. People around here don't like visitors too much. Given our usual clientele, you know.
Were they doing anything in particular?
Just roaming about, you know. They're funny little mechanical things, you know, like bips and bops and all that.
They are.
Well, yeah, the little helpers, you know, little guys walking around.
I don't know.
Well, they build them, don't they? You know, the little fellas, the gnomes, build them to help the work go a bit easier. We could do the couple.
Like automaton creatures.
Tell me what?
Perhaps like the creatures that the dwarves possessed. The stone.
What did he say? I can't keep up with this lad.
The mechanical men.
Aye, that's right.
Yeah.
Little things.
Yeah.
Like football with legs.
Hmm.
Yeah, football, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Some, not all of them, like some of them bigger than that. There's only the little football ones that come up here. They came and checked in, like, I think they're a bit worried they won't be able to feed everyone.
Mm.
Oh, maybe they'll buy some of this, who knows? It's mostly gristle, but it's good for burning.
Mm.
More so than you think.
You get
The
some.
oil's quite good.
Got to get some meat off it, though, haven't you?
Oh, aye, plenty.
How long is there? Have you got a fast way for us to travel from here?
I'd use your legs. Best way.
I thought you might
Just
say
going to
that.
slide down the hill, right into the valley. That'd do it.
And did you say it's a 10-day from here?
No, they've been set up a 10-day.
Oh, I see.
Probably my accent, you know, not used to all this kind of talk like that, you know.
Yes. And what distance are they from here?
Probably. You'd have to bed down for the night, I'd say, but you'd make it. If you walk straight through the dark light, you'd get there. It's not easy land, you know. Shadecap's not a million miles away.
And do you provide somewhere to rest?
Me?
Your town, Dark Point.
Well, you'd be halfway down the valley by then. You don't want to take a shack with you, are you? Well, you could do if you like. Be heavy.
Camping, you're suggesting.
Ah, yeah, that'll do it.
Okay.
In like a tent,
Yes.
you know. Or just sleep on the floor, you know. I don't know what you guys do. Like in a cocoon? Maybe?
No, a tent is fine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, that'll do it.
Yes. Have you seen anything unusual around here recently.
Yeah, now that you mention it.
Three people
coming out of a big fish. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That and the little football men.
Okay. Yes. Anything?
Well, they did open the gate a little while ago. But they'd probably come to see the old, circus, the thing.
Gate?
The gate, yeah. Probably old Renthar opened it up, don't know.
Know his name as well.
We're looking for. Now, this might sound strange, but any heightened quantities of life.
Right. See.
Anything that might have been unusual?
Well, I don't know. A little while ago, when we were looking over the valley, it was late at night, to be totally honest, I'd had a bit. And there was this kind of light, like a green light. And I thought, well, maybe it's come from up there, It seemed to kind of hover, move about the place. But like I say, there's a lot of, it's not good to be out during the night around here. I mean, you guys look like decent folk, but there's a lot aren't. Like I say, those that try and make it Shakecat don't quite make it the whole way, if you know what I mean. Or maybe those that lose out at Shakecat, don't have much to their name and come back out again, roam the valley. And there was this kind of light, and it happened, and it disappeared. And I did think it was strange, because we didn't want to make it down the valley, because we're not sure if we'd run into the wrong sort, we're big lads, but there's a lot that goes on. But by the time I got a bit of a posse about the next day to go and check it out, the gnomes had moved in, haven't they? That's why they put their tents right on it.
Interesting.
And is this? She points in the same direction as we were pointing to previously. Is this the same direction?
Oh, yeah, that's right. But we came to think of it, and after we saw the little beach ball men walking around, we figured it's probably something they'd done. Maybe it's how they make their camp. I don't know, but it looked a little bit like come from up there,
Thank you, Alf.
Who's
Arthur.
Arthur.
Arf.
Arthur the Arth? That's right. Do you want to see it?
Sure.
He pulls his smock to one side. He's got this horrendous scar that runs from one shoulder all the way down as far as you can see. It's
That
probably
is-
about 3 or 4 inches thick.
That is quite impressive.
It's all right, isn't it?
I'm amazed you survived that.
Tough lighter. Poked it all in, stitch it up. Right as rain, 10-day later.
Wow.
Hauling stuff up, I was.
I am impressed.
Little rockfish, monkfish, the whole lot. From right down there in the deep. He gestures around, as you do notice. You do notice semi-permanent kind of fishing rods that are set up in this pool. They're not they're like individuals fishing. They're almost like much longer, kind of 15, 16 foot long, kind of 2 to 3 inch thick poles, and they're just dangling down into this abyss. The reels are huge as well, so obviously going pretty deep.
So, you say there's bandit types down in the valley on the way through?
Yeah, I'd probably call them that, yeah. All that and halflings. Bloody halflings. You've got to be careful of them these days. People coming back in and out of the Elven lands. Halfling Liberation Front.
A lot of them about.
Come straight up out of the long grass. You can't even see them. Fire in the lot. Don't take no prisoners, that's for sure. Well, unless you've got a lot of money. They seem all about liberating the halflings until there's some money on the table. Yeah, that and the bandits. And the beach ball men. They seem alright though. Bit testy, but I'd probably think that if I was made out of bolts and that.
Is there another way that avoids this?
Well, it's a valley, isn't it? Can't do much about that.
Okay. Well, thank you
You
very
either
much.
have to make yourself inconspicuous or be so conspicuous that people don't want to bother you. Given, not mistaking you lot, given how you arrived, I imagine it'll be the latter.
At this point, the sudden realisation that we probably stink of fish guts is probably.
It's called ambergris.
All right.
It's an oily substance of the bloatfish's digestive system.
All right.
Yeah, it's used as a base in ethers and the like. It's worth quite a lot, actually. So if you wouldn't mind, before you leave.
Yeah, if you want to scrape some of this crap off, you're quite welcome to.
Yeah, it's quite useful.
Actually, see, that's not a bad idea. Have you got somewhere where we could clean up? You know, you can have some of this if you want. I mean, there's
Well, you can
plenty
use my
more.
hut if you like.
Yeah, but it
It's
wouldn't
not
be a
much,
bad
but you're
idea
welcome
to
to
get
it.
some of this stuff on and cleaned up, would it?
As long as you're not telling my partner that you're taking a fancy elf back to cabin, if you know what I mean. Not mistaken, like.
Fancy elf.
Yeah.
That's you, that is.
You be talking town by the time you're gone.
Well, hopefully, yes. Okay, we'll clean up.
If we could make use of your facilities, sir, that would be
Oh, yeah.
that would be
And the
really
cabin.
useful. Yeah, that'd be great if we could.
That's all right. 6th one on the left there.
Thank you very much.
You know it's mine. It's got the number 12 written on it.
Number 12.
Yeah, it's lucky.
We'll go to number 12.
Mm-hmm.
Just for reference, none of the others are numbered.
Just
When you get there, number 12, it's fairly rough hewn. These things are obviously thrown together by people who are not carpenters. It doesn't have a door. Most of them don't. Occasionally there's little kind of things on hinges, but you notice, for example, hinges and metal work in general is fairly missing. There isn't a lot of it. Probably hard to get your hands on. Other than the tools they're carrying and kind of hooks and things, there isn't a lot of other metal work around. So there's no door on this particular shack. There's kind of a cloth-like shift that kind of holds down. As you go to push it, you realise it's fairly weighted. There's obviously something sewn into the hem to stop it from blowing in the wind. But as you push in, the first thing you get is a fairly unpleasant aroma of kind of humans living in squalid conditions. And you would describe it as squalid. There's a small place for cooking, probably for when it's too wet to cook outside, but it doesn't look active now. There's obviously a kind of mixture of dried grass and hay with a sheet over the top, which is made into almost like a bed that you would arguably use for two. There's no privy or anything like that that can be seen, and there's a small bric-a-brac collection of odds and ends, mostly fishing rope, kind of hooks, those kind of things, but nothing that you would describe as valuable. And that is it.
I was kind of hoping for some running water.
She points back out
There
to
is
the
a small
shoreline.
bucket filled with water that's probably been stood for at least 12 hours. But other than that.
Water.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's come out of a person, but
could just be very well hydrated.
Lantrix is going to re-walk to the shoreline and de-shore and walk just back out into the sea until her head is covered completely and try and get this goop off of her.
yeah, no worries. The thing you will notice is that you're an adventurer. It won't take you by surprise. There's almost like a little bit of ledge, a little bit of beach, and then it suddenly cuts away as if things suddenly incredibly deep. You can wade out into it. It's fine. You're kind of wading and then you're
gone.
swimming.
Good for surfing, no?
Yeah, when you look at it, it's so much strange to behold. You can kind of see a little bit of pretty clear water. It's actually beautifully clear, and then like almost like a blackness in a circle, as if it's incredibly far down. But yeah, you can easily do that. Easily wash. It causes a bit of a spectacle. There's people who are trying very hard not to look in your direction, which is obvious because you're not an idiot. But yeah, they probably think they're being fairly stealthy, but obviously you guys being here is causing a bit of a spectacle. And if you wanted to, you could probably overhear conversations and various
I
things.
will stay by the shore keeping an eye on her stuff
Mm-hmm.
until she's finished, and then I'm going to have a go doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Wesley?
Wesley's dancing to the
Wesley's got some tunes.
steel drums.
Wesley. I was just thinking about ambergris. That's what I was thinking about.
It
Very
does.
pleasant.
You notice as you wade out, there is this oily substance kind of collecting on the surface.
That was first put in Chanel number 5. That's why it's famous. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
your perfume history.
Yeah.
He's dead right. Whale shit number 5.
I'll dive in.
Cannonball!
It's definitely a holiday destination. Well, let's go.
As a
Occasionally you see one of the lines twitch and somebody excitedly runs over and starts reeling, but then after a little while they'll feel the line kind of sigh and kind of drop it back in again.
There's a brief montage of us cavorting in the water, splashing each other, and wiping the oil off. And
It's always the spa anime episode,
Yeah.
you know, where everyone goes and just like lolls around in water for a
Yeah.
while. That's what this
It has
is.
to be that slow-mo shot, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Somebody coming out of the water. Yeah.
Yeah.
because
The
I
swirl
am
goes everywhere.
worth it.
Worth
So
it.
worth it.
As Elantrix sort of gets into the water, she thinks back to a memory of being in Equa
Mm.
and seeing the white spires ascending into the sky, and thinks of what is the closest thing to a holiday that she can remember as a child, where she was in the sea with some of her friends, as Equa borders the sea, and she'd like to try and make a save against things.
Yeah, sure.
Of what type? Your
It would probably be. Give me a little look.
Does she get a save against me sneaking up behind her and dunking her?
No.
She's making a progress save here. by the way.
Progress save, yeah.
Yeah.
Progress save. I was just
Progress
looking for.
She's saving the game.
character sheet.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I've got dinner.
So,
Progress
so if
save.
we die, we come back here.
Yeah.
Save point. We love a save point. Let's
Just
make
use
it a-
that handy large wooden chest over there and chuck all my stuff in it.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be a wisdom save, isn't it? So a wisdom save.
What are we saving for? Just a holiday.
Natural 20.
Ooh, that's the only one of those you'll roll all night.
There you go.
Those bucks
Um,
away.
The water is in itself very cold, but you do feel another coldness, almost like an otherworldly coldness around you. You don't know what the effect is, but you just know that you almost feel something detach slightly from your being.
Are you going to share that with the rest of the party?
I don't know how safe you are.
Well, it only takes an inch of water to drown. So very unsafe, I would say.
Something took me.
Something what?
Something took me.
What do you mean?
When we were travelling between the tower and here, something took me.
What are you talking about? What tower? Was I in a tower?
The demon. The creature.
When you say took, you mean like physically transported you to somewhere, or
It's been with me.
oh, and it's not now?
What are you talking about? What tower? Was I at a tower?
You were at the tower.
I was at the tower.
You were at the tower.
Oh, I don't remember what's going on. Nobody
Well-
took you.
Oh, hang on, was you at the
Was
tower?
I at a tower?
Were you at the tower?
I don't know.
Yeah, Wesley was trapped in a cube in
Yeah,
Oh!
that
Yeah,
tower.
the floor.
Renthari Prime.
Yeah.
Renthari Prime.
When we were taken, the creature that we met.
Oh, that
in
creature.
the one that's in the giant beaker.
It took hold of me.
Did it?
It's
I don't remember
been travelling in your mind all this time,
It's been with me.
and you're saying it's now gone.
I don't know.
Knowingly? Did you know it was with you?
I don't know.
Have you only just become aware that it was there, or?
I guess so.
That's
When I
interesting.
walk back into the water.
Can I do an investigation on the water? Can I just get a mouth taste of the water?
Salty.
The oily.
The water. That's a powerful 12.
Power.
Yeah, it is salt water, which is kind of unusual. You'd expect this to be fresh water from the mountain, but it obviously comes from something else. It's definitely salt water, but it doesn't seem to have any unusual properties. You've got various kits on you, so you would know. You probably know what you were looking for. It doesn't seem to be unusual anyway.
So this isn't an ocean. We are in a lake.
We're a long
Or
way.
reservoir.
It's
Wow.
kind of like a reservoir.
Oh.
It's almost it's deep. It comes up from
This is
underneath the
salt
mountain,
water.
and it's probably
Oh, I
200
get it
feet
now.
across, but like a
it
black,
might be,
almost disc. at the
With this
front.
music, I'm just at the beach.
rotten rock
I've just been at the beach all this
You've
time.
been at the beach the whole
I've
time.
been at the beach the whole
Yeah, it's a
time.
lot of rock salt.
Look, I don't know if I've been myself.
Do you feel different now?
Yes.
Good different? Bad different?
Good different. I don't know what it means.
Uh-oh, I should keep my eyes on you and be prepared to stab at something that comes out of you different?
Maybe.
Maniacally good? Do you
This-
feel an urge to destroy civilization?
No.
Oh, okay. Just checking that it wasn't being possessed by whatever this thing was.
It spoke to me a few times.
And this is when you came into the water?
I just thought back.
What did it sound like? I've tried talking to a lot of people. You sure it wasn't one of the Bureau?
No, it was the creature we met.
Was he from the Bureau?
We called it What You Wish.
Yeah, if you say so.
No, it was definitely What You Wish.
Very good, very good.
It's been with me, and I'm sorry if I've not been myself.
I would know it's a thing. I don't know you very well, so...
You've only known that me.
Hmm.
Look after me,
Mm.
and look after the others.
Mm.
Just going to walk back out of the water and return to her things and sort of inside cross her fingers. She returns to her possessions.
Do you feel any different now that you're out of the water?
Do I?
You can roll me probably a religion or an arcana check. But other than
Okay.
that,
I'll do religion.
Roll me a, oh fuck me, that sounds scary, check.
A natural 1.
natural one.
A natural 20 followed by a natural 1.
Yeah, I've
Your
got all
laws.
that min-maxing today.
Yeah.
What happens when you
Laws.
borrow somebody else's card?
I'm not going to need that. You didn't feel any different, and that was the strange thing. You had this sudden feeling like something was detaching from you, almost from behind, being pulled from the back of your head. A coldness, if you like. But the water was very cold as well, so it was hard to distinguish between what was physical and what wasn't. You feel like you're getting out of a pool of water. This don't really determine anything else. You slowly feel that what was originally cold air, we're going into cold spell, if you like. It's starting to get chilly, real chilly, and you notice the differential between the coldness of the water and slightly warm as you leave. But other than that, you don't notice anything unusual.
Just going to put, re-doff her armour. And just return to the. Just going to try and dry off a bit first,
Okay.
and return to the sort of shack.
I'll
It's
call over
noticeably
to
quite hard to
Alf.
dry yourselves because it's cold. But
Is there any way we can start a fire?
There are bits of fire pits, braziers, things like that around. They're crude. They're kind of just pits in the ground or bits of kind of stone kind of pushed up against each other. Do you mean actually within the hut?
In the hut, outside the hut?
In the hut there is this small place that was obviously made for a cooking fire. You don't know if it was made for warmth, but it's definitely a place for a cooking fire. There's bits of tinder, there's enough that with enough time you'd be able to make a little fire in there. It's kind of just the floor is littered with kind of grass and stuff to make it soft, but there is kind of a noticeable stone hole, if you like, that's blackened where obviously a small fire has been lit.
Did we all experience the coldness of the water? Was that just...
Yeah,
So
the water
yeah.
was very cold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it seasonal?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah.
Well,
so
it's
there's
probably a
nothing...
little bit colder than you'd expect purely because of its depth.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, but that was
Cool.
there was nothing unusual about it.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah. Perfect.
So you've started a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty easy to do. Again, you're
Start
used
a
to
little
starting
fire.
fires on the track, so actually in a hut with everything you need, it's pretty quick going. You immediately encounter that this place gets very smoky. It's probably not good for an individual to live in these conditions for long periods of time, but it gives a hell of a lot of warmth while you're in here. You start to dry off fairly quickly.
What's new then, Alandrix? What's new with you? What's the new you?
I should mention at the moment, the sun's probably kind of halfway through the sky. That's kind of, not much time has passed since you were regurgitators, but that's where you are. It was very hard to tell passage of time when you were below the mountain. Whether the time under the mountain was the same as the time outside the mountain, you've no idea. But the sun's about midway through the sky at the moment.
I think the creature wanted me to destroy what we're looking for. So I think we very much need to not destroy.
Do you think this sounds like bureau business to me? Well, I don't know what that is. But I mean, if you're hearing them in the noggin, generally bureau business.
She's going to cast Messenger and talk to you in your head as a cantrip and say, not everything you hear in your head is bureau business.
What? Do you work for the bureau?
No,
Where did you learn to do that?
I channel it.
It took me hundreds of years. By an accident, it happened. I think it was an accident. Can you talk to Goric? I've got important business.
I could.
What?
Maybe.
Oh, this evening's just got good. Lovely.
Maybe.
Bureau business.
The curtain, the shift, if you like, of the cabin just flutters ever so slightly. A relatively slight man comes to the curtain, and he just kind of brings with him a small plate. It looks like what you'd imagine a prawn if a prawn was the size of your fist, but also kind of like grey and more
Lobster.
insect-like. Yeah, but like curled, almost like a big prawn-like grub. And there's about 5 or 6 of them in this dish. He sheepishly looks in and just said, Half said you might like these. Welcome to the cabin, and just puts them down on the floor and then darts off.
Thank you.
Have they dressed
Shout
them?
after him.
Have they got all of the antennae
Yeah, it's
and
all there.
legs?
They also seem raw. It's obviously the
Ooh.
dish is. You don't know whether it can be eaten raw or not without making a check, but obviously the dish is made out of a type of stone. You'd imagine it could be heated. It looks like it's meant to get on the fire.
I will place the bowl in the fire and
Fits quite nicely there. It's obviously what it is. They start oozing slightly and cooking.
What would you want to say to Goric?
I haven't thought of that.
while these two are chatting, I'll just poke them with a stick.
I'd like-
and just
Yeah, they start to.
sizzle.
Yeah, they're less firm as they cook. They kind
I
of.
don't-
Well, actually, the opposite. They
I
start to
haven't thought
firm
about
up
that.
slightly. The shells kind of
I need to make
expand
contact
as if
with
they're getting
Goric.
looser.
I can do it once. And
I
he,
just
he
need to...
can speak back something short.
Pop, sizzle,
A location would be great.
pop, pop, sizzle.
I need to find Goric and get
sizzle,
back.
Sizzle, sizzle, pop, sizzle,
So I've got to find him.
fizz, pop.
If we can locate him, that will be a big help.
Are they turning a more appealing colour yet?
What do you need?
Still very.
Can I help?
stone-like.
Yeah.
It smells all right. Strong odour of fish starts permeating.
Let's look how many bones he's got. 25 gold pieces, hopefully. I'm going to skip the grubs. No bush tucker trials for me, thank you. I'm pretty sure I had some rations.
Not today, see.
No. No, thank you. Oh,
I've eaten weirder.
yes, I do not have rations.
There's all sorts of interesting delicacies on sale in Equa.
Mm.
I've eaten all sorts of.
Thinking of, in certain circles in Aqua, you might have seen one of these before. They're referred to as rockfish. They're obviously neither rock nor fish, but they are described as that. It's a very lower class meal. It's not really eaten by elves. You normally find them in curries and the like, stuff that has tons of spice and flavour. These don't, but they're normally used as a high protein, relatively cheap source of meat that you can add into curries and things like that. They make quite a nice big protein hit.
So I'd have a vague idea how to cook them.
You've probably seen street sellers and they like cook them over little fires much like this, but in a big curry pot. You've never really seen them shelled before, but you can deduce. You probably might have seen people with piles of shells, but yeah, they obviously know that vaguely what they look like.
Do you wish to make contact with him?
Contact from the other side.
So when I decide that these things look cooked, I will take them off the heat and proceed to shell them in my best possible manner.
How do you de-shell a rockfish?
With a rock.
Do I have a knife?
We can't make contact with Goric.
Welcome back to Cooking with the Nurse.
Pity.
Why?
Can't believe I haven't got a knife. I haven't got any
Goric
sort of knife.
knows.
I've not got a knife. How would I not have at least a pocket?
Knows what?
I don't know what he
We can
knows,
retcon
because I don't
you
know
got
what
a
I
pocket
know.
knife if you want. We can retcon that you got a
But I
pocket
know
knife.
I've got a mess kit.
that I have to
That would
find
that would have
Goric
dagger or something.
and
Gotta have
find a
something,
way
haven't they?
home.
Yeah, there you go.
But I
Cut
know-
and simple cutlery.
Yeah, there you go.
All I know
Once
is
I use a
that
cooking pan
Goric
as a plate or a shallow bowl.
must have
So yeah, there you go. I'll
obviously-
use my cutlery to
he's somehow
inexpertly
aware of the Bureau,
squelchy, pop.
and our communications confirmed that to him. And my mission is to
Worse.
find a way
Hard.
back.
If you imagine a cross on.
And I think Goric is going to be linked to that.
And what do we think the Bureau is?
I'll cut it into small sections.
Very rubbery.
No.
Very-
It was a
with
mashed
some
potato
effort, I'll cut it
factory
into small
of hand
sections.
cranking and listening and communicating. Apart from that, it was above my station to know. I just followed instruction.
Rockfish?
Does it look any better than it did?
Didn't look bad. It's kind of a big rubbery mass. Almost
Just-
like you imagine a mixture between a prawn, which is a vegetarian prawn,
Yeah.
kind of like croissant sized,
Yeah.
but almost like a prawn that's cooked and kind of curled over, but it's quite grey in colour.
Does it not look like the legs gone?
The
Yes,
legs
I've
are
taken the
gone,
legs and
it's
the
been
shell off.
deshelled.
Oh, you probably wouldn't even know the difference. That looks appetising. I'll have some of that, yes. Thank God you
yourself.
got rid of that other stuff. That was awful.
Dentrix will probably have
Thank
a bit.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's large and rubbery, but you almost bite into it. It's kind of like almost eating a big chunk of squid. It's
Yeah.
kind of like
Not bad.
quite flavourless, but it's quite a heavy odour of fish. That's
Keep chewing on it
obviously
for a
proteiny.
while.
Yeah, it's chewy, kind of grizz.
Udder fish.
Yeah,
And if you find Gorick, then what do you do?
Hopefully he can help me kind of know what I'm meant to do here. I've been given a field manual and a name badge, and these powers were bestowed upon me from the Bureau to find a way home. I don't know how I got here. I don't know how I'm getting home, but I made contact with Gorick, and at that point I just remember fast travelling as you wish, but not with a load screen. That makes any sense to you?
I think we might have fast travelled also
There's a load screen
Through
on
a-
the lodestone.
through a
Do you think?
well, when we escaped the tower, we fast travelled,
Black and
as
white?
you call it, through to the east.
Was it black and white?
I think it might have. I can't remember. It might have been.
It's a significant draining of colour.
Yeah.
That sounds like...
Quite unusual.
Yes! You are from the Bureau.
It wasn't instantaneous though. You definitely travelled through. You were somewhere. You travelled through somewhere for a short period of time,
At
and then
speed.
at speed, and then appeared
Yes.
elsewhere.
Is that what happened to you?
Yes.
Well, it sounds like you were under the effect of some kind of magic.
No, maybe. I don't know. But I do know that I spoke to Gorick was my only successful communication, and my only response was, "So it is true." So he knows more than I do. But I know what I'm
He
doing.
said, "So it is true to you."
Yes. No. I think he said it to himself. I don't know. Did he say it to me? That's why I need to find him.
And so I've read a lot of books
Yes.
throughout my time. I've been keen to learn all the histories of Asher, and I've read a lot. We have the great library, of course, at Spetakaza, and I've read. We had, yes. We've read a huge amount about the histories of humans and elves and dwarves and gnomes and halflings. But the Durgar, there's this peculiar hole in your history, in that there isn't one. Not one that I could find anyway. And every time I seemed to get close to something, either pages were missing or references were entirely removed. Where is home for the Durgar?
I'd like to remind you that I am a Wesley Debenham, as on this badge, as a Wesley.
Again, yes. Yes. Yes, Wesley.
Yes.
Where is home for the Wesleys?
I've never met another Wesley. I am the one and only, and I didn't meet anybody at the Bureau. I couldn't tell where the Bureau was, but I don't think it was here, as in Asher. I don't think
Where
so.
is there apart from Asher?
I don't know, but I don't think it's here. I lived a very sheltered life. I'm quite old.
Weren't you in a cell for most of your
I
life?
wouldn't call it a cell. I was in a cell when I arrived in Asher. Barbarians put me in a cell. I don't know why I ended up in a cell, but I had a room.
But were you able to leave that room?
Why would I want to leave the room?
Okay. What was beyond the room?
I'm assuming other people, just like me, cranking their handles.
You'll have a vague recollection of the tower that it was mentioned that people couldn't travel into it by the same way you travelled out. It was specifically mentioned by the Duke when you went to travel out that it wasn't possible, and he had to make it possible for you.
This is an interesting story. If you'd wish to make contact with Gorick, just let me know. I can do it.
I would like to... Can you locate Gorick without getting into contact with Gorick?
Mm-hmm.
You can locate him,
I
but do we have to...
can locate an object if we assumed he was holding one.
Oh, I thought I was going to assume Gorick was an object. I was going to say that's
But
very
he has-
frowned upon.
But he'd have to be closer to me. I can speak to him from anywhere, but I can locate him from within 1,000 feet or so.
Oh, it's not very far, is it?
No.
Well, I don't think Gorik's within 1,000 feet. I'll be very surprised. Because I hear this place is quite large.
Mm.
What even is a foot?
We left him in Spetakaza. He may still be there.
And where's that?
The Great Chime, the Great Knell, the huge bell. You don't know, do you?
No. No. I've heard of it, but I don't. I've
You
never
would have
seen
heard,
it.
so over various conversations you've taken part of,
Yeah.
mention of Spetakaza probably came up a few times, particularly of it being constructed, of it chiming, all in random order, but you will have heard people speak of it, of a very large bell. Even of people speaking rumours about it and saying that there's a kind of 100-mile high bell and various things. So it's stuck out in conversation. In various languages as well.
I've heard of it, but I'm... In all honesty, I think it's pretty inconsequential because I was never requested. The chimes, never listen to a chime, that's just things that happen. I hear all sorts of things on the intercontinental transmission. Cranky Handle, what's his actual name? It actually goes by the flavour of...
The sound flavour.
The sound flavour, yeah. It is just the intertransmissions device, is what it was. I hear a lot, but I was never requested to listen for certain things or listen for certain information just to make contact. Gorik was my contact. And I've got to get Gorik back home. This is the important thing.
You must take Gorik back home.
I wasn't really instructed on what to do. I kind of just ended here. You know what happens? It sounds like you've been through the black and white.
Maybe.
Yeah, you don't get a lot. Yeah, I have a lot of time to think. Nobody gave me a briefing. I've just arrived with a field manual, a name badge, and some powers.
Did any creature take you when you were in the black and white?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Would you know?
No, I don't know. Did you know?
Yes.
I don't think. Yes, I know. If you knew, I did not know. So I'm going to say no. I am a Wesley Debenham from here to my toes.
That thing that your toes are attached to, that's a foot.
Thank you. Every day's a school day.
Oh, dear.
Are we
I might have
staying
eaten
here
too
or are
much
we
rockfish.
leaving?
Is it dark?
The rockfish are quite nice, and
It's
you,
really
you,
dark.
you notice as you start eating rockfish that you are actually quite hungry, having not eaten for like, you don't know how long, probably close to kind of 8 hours. You've been adventuring for a fairly long time.
Adventuring.
Well, we will.
We can have a snooze here, I think, would be good.
It's probably safer to rest here than on the road.
Start in the morning, get as far as we can during the daylight. If there's bandits in them there valleys, then I'd rather encounter them during the day.
And nobody has reason to suspect that we're here.
No, but I get the impression that random travellers going through the valley meet some interesting random people.
I suspect Captain Fantastic knows. And we may be here. Maybe? If there's only one pool and we've come up, out, I'm assuming that there's not many other pools to come up out of.
Phineas, you're my guard.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do?
Rest, travel during the morning.
Okay.
Travel. We'll get up at first light. Travel as
So-
far as we can during the day.
So it shall be.
Oh. You've been travelling together all this time? Are you the guard of Alandrix?
In a manner of speaking.
Does everybody have jobs?
Everybody would like a
Does
job.
Caston have a job?
Caston.
Yeah.
Yes, he was part of the Liberation Front.
A job with you?
I wouldn't say that too loudly around here. If I were you.
He was part of the. He's also my entourage.
Is there a reason that I haven't been invited into this entourage?
Well,
Do I not
I
meet
think
the criteria of your social circle?
you've sort of naturally fallen into it.
I feel bad now.
Leslie.
I apologise.
No, it's good to have you here.
You sure about that?
I think so.
Yes, I am
You regret that
particularly
tomorrow.
very interested
Are you?
in your story.
Wow. Oh, I'll try and have a think on tonight's sleep. Otherwise, see what I remember overnight.
We will try to rest the night.
Lovely. It's probably about mid-afternoon, but you are tired. Like you've been travelling a long time. It's
So
probably
just
about
relax
mid-afternoon.
in
You probably
the
relax
proceeding.
until dark and then sleep.
If it's a Sunday, I could have easily started sleeping at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Absolutely,
All the way to
yeah.
the next. But if it's a Sunday, I could easily.
You've eaten a lot of protein,
Especially if there's a race on.
yeah, lately, yeah.
And you've had a big pile of mash.
Big pile of mash.
Big pile of mash. As you're relaxing, resting, is there anything in particular you are doing? I might remind you that on your person is a relatively large staff with teeth sticking out of it. That you discovered.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Yes,
Didn't-
I will.
Did you take that, or did Carl take? Sorry, Caston take that.
No, Caston's got the axe. You took that.
Yeah, I
That's
took the.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought it was the nails.
Yeah. Well, while we're resting, while we're having some quiet time, I will.
Absolutely.
I'll attune to it.
You have a go. You have to identify it first.
I'll identify it.
Lantrix
Which will
is
take
good.
Some
She'll
time.
help you.
Yeah, she'd happily assist you to look at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
She finds this stuff interesting.
Yeah, well, the Lantrix is identify it, and then you have to attune to it after. You probably got the time to do both because you've gone like most of the afternoon and then you take a long rest. You probably got time to do both at that time.
Good.
If you were studying it. On top of that, just before nightfall, the only interesting things to happen is you overhear what's supposed to be a whispered conversation. The voice that you obviously identify as Arthur the Half, and another voice fairly close by the cabin. And there's another voice that's fairly quiet that kind of says, "Well, I don't want to stay in there if they're there. It's not right for me at all." And you hear Arthur's voice saying, well, I wouldn't worry about it. It's probably all right. They seem like decent people. Amongst them, they decide they're going to stay in a friend's cabin for the evening. Before that happens, the other individual is a slightly slight man, relatively clean shaven, drops off what seems like an urn, kind of a clay vessel, if it makes sense. He kind of just hovers around outside and drops it by the side. Just in case you wanted a drink for the evening, and then disappears.
Thank you. Before you go,
Sorry, yeah? Yep.
could
Yeah.
you just make sure that it's all right with Ern, Arf, that we stay here tonight?
Of course, yes, please.
Just-
What's mine is
So
yours.
kind, aren't they?
Hmm.
I don't understand currency, but I'm going to give you 1 golden coin.
Please, no.
Sir, take the coin.
Far too much for us.
I have 1 gold coin, or I have 1 silver coin.
Both would be far more than. Please don't brandish that around here. We're decent people, but not everyone is. It'd probably be good if you kept that to yourself, sir.
Is there a donations box?
No, no. There's just please accept the cabin. Don't put it away if you wouldn't mind.
I thought people were meant to covet this stuff.
You've probably got enough money in that coin to buy this whole village 10 times over.
Why won't they take it then?
Leave a piece of silver on there, under their pillow.
Yeah. Oh, the truth fairy. I shall.
You have her too.
I shall remove 1.
In Asher, she's an ivory dealer. Oh, I got some lovely teeth for you. That adventure comes afterwards.
Very small.
I've heard you wanted to make a piano. Sack over one shoulder.
Comes equipped with a very small hammer and chisel and a very fine pair of pliers.
Yeah.
I will leave the silver piece shall be left under the pillow as instructed by Lantrix.
Oh, that's very kind.
So what's the story with this pointy stick then?
So you look at it, it is a relatively crude staff. The shaft itself is obviously made out of some very large bone. It's actually curved, like some kind of large fish creature. It's slightly translucent. It's not like a whale bone. It's obviously like a proper fish bone. It's roughly kind of 5 foot in height, so it's not a long staff by any stretch of the imagination. The pointy end, and I call it that because it is incredibly pointy, is some kind of collection of teeth and bone and sharp objects. To almost, it looks all, even though it's the head of a staff, it almost looks slightly club-like, but it's incredibly sharp. Even looking at it is a bit painful. It kind of comes out with teeth and kind of sharp implements and kind of all collected together. Slightly disconcertingly is there is a black orb towards the centre of the massive teeth that upon closer inspection is definitely an eye. It seems to look around a little bit and watch you slightly and then spin. It's kind of nestled amongst all the teeth. You don't know how it's connected. It doesn't seem to have any kind of optic nerve or anything. It just kind of swivels inside a cage of teeth without popping. But it's kind of, not very pleasant to look at. It's obviously, I don't know if you want to do any kind of check, Elantrix, to kind of discern its potency or what it does.
She has identify, but I don't think. Hang on. Can that be cast as a ritual? 'Cause if so,
Yeah, I think so.
What I've decided in my head canon is...
it can be. Does
You
that
know,
mean?
you know when we started this campaign,
Does that mean I still need to spend the component?
we had our old
No.
characters,
Yeah, it's original.
but we lost Claro because Felix came. And Claro was in the orb. That orb
Even the
is in that staff, and it's the staff of
That's
Claro,
value.
the power from
Claro.
it.
I think it's
That's
alright
Claro,
because it's a
right, that's
ritual,
what I'm
I
gonna say.
believe.
Can't
And
quite
that's
remember.
headcanon for me. It's not an eyeball.
Can I investigation them all?
Because it got lost, didn't it? That orb.
It did.
We lost it.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
I've just
In
rolled a
Valley of the
natural
Beast.
20 on investigation.
Good lord!
Now you will have to tell us if it's
give me
Claro
one,
or not.
That'd be one hell of a coinky dink if it turns
would
out
be
to be
good,
the
yeah.
orb of Claro.
No, it lets you. All it does is it lets you cast it without expending a spell slot. Doesn't change anything about the required
Yeah, that's
components.
That is right. The customer must also have the spell prepare, blah 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 blah. So yes,
Yeah,
I'm
so she
afraid
can't.
still
Yeah.
have to use the material cost.
That's fine. You rolled a 20 anyway.
You rolled a 20 anyway. So who knows how you figure out the name of the staff, but you do. It's, if you so wish to call it this way, it's what its name is. It's called the Staff of He Who Writhes Within.
Ooh, heck, I like the sound of that. It just comes to me.
Yeah, the Staff of He Who Writhes Within.
Writhes.
Writhes.
Ooh, even better. I thought it was rides.
It's like a
But
sluggish
rides.
parasite.
Right.
Lovely.
How do I add that to my...
I think you can add a custom item.
Yeah.
Here's a lot of other gobbledygook that you might need to know. Blah 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 blah. It's fairly obvious to identify that the top sharp pointy end of the staff is ideal for close quarters combat. In addition, you can make a ranged spell attack against a target. You will know that would be fairly forceful. But I'm not going to tell you exactly how much until you use it.
Cool.
In addition, as I've said before, the pointy end is obviously quite good for hitting people with. You imagine this thing is used to hit people fairly good.
I like things what hit people fairly good.
There you go.
What's it called?
The staff of he who writhes within.
You'll notice that was what the fairly insane fish creature was mentioning quite a lot.
Reminds me, my favourite staff ever, just as an aside, is from original Diablo,
Yeah.
which I played single player. I think you could play it 2-player, original Diablo.
I didn't have any friends either, Jack.
Yeah, that's correct.
I've never seen original Diablo.
I had it on the
amazing.
PlayStation.
It's like one of my
Yeah.
all-time
Oh, it's
favourite
better
games.
than it's the Diablo. It's the
Diablo
yeah.
is the Diablo. There's
Yeah.
only one piece of gear that changed your physical appearance, and it was great.
I'm
Yeah.
throwing nostalgia
Yeah.
out there, and it's going to be trash these days.
Yeah. Oh yeah, probably. If you, if you replayed it.
Diablo 2,
But-
I'm sorry.
But the best staff ever
Yeah.
designed was original Diablo playing single player. You could find the staff of Heal Other.
Oh,
And in a two-player game, that makes sense. But in a one-player playthrough of Diablo, the staff of heal other, fantastic. Because you couldn't heal yourself.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
The greatest staff ever made.
Yeah,
In
staff
there
of
you
heal
go.
other.
In Diablo 3, they've got the bovine balmed niche. That if you take it to one of the cubes, it opens a portal to a cow world. That was pretty fun. You got gold.
what's the
It
spell
was always
effects
good to
of
save
this
them,
thing?
yeah.
You'll have to use it to find out, is what I'll say.
So it's got a magical attack.
You know that it's got some kind of ranged spell attack. Just holding it and kind of investigating for long enough, you're pretty sure if you pointed it at something you wanted to hurt, it would hurt them at range. You also know that if you pushed this thing very hard at somebody, it would probably cause a fair amount of damage.
Right. I've just
It's
noted it
very
down in my
resilient,
other
so it's
possessions
been-
because I don't know how you.
Yeah. You have no idea how what can only be described as some kind of mad amphibian has created a device that looks this sturdy. Yeah.
Manage inventory.
There you go.
Add an item. Add a custom
So
item.
it's add custom item.
He's in.
I'm in.
While
Add
we're
custom
bedding down and adding staves to our inventory, shall we have a short break? About a short
I think it's a
break
great
That'd be
time.
a lovely little time, wouldn't it?
Lovely little time.
We're going to have a long rest, so we'll join you in the next 8 hours.
See you in 8 hours.
Yeah, see you in 8 hours. And we'll probably join you in roughly 6 of your Earth minutes. Would be about the right time.
It's always about 10.
I'll see you. Yeah, it's always about
We say 6, but it's always about 10. Just
10. It's 6 give or take.
Yeah.
So now we've said 10, it'll be 15.
Yeah, so that's it. I was
And
trying
I've
to
said
stop
15.
that from happening. We'll see you at some point in the near future. Have a lovely time. Get yourself a beer. Chill out. It's all happening later on.
Unless you're under about 14.
Yeah, we are in the
Yeah.
UK, so if you're under 14, just whiskey.
But if you're on the continent,
Yeah.
supervised with an adult,
Yeah.
you're allowed to drink a glass of beer or wine with food.
We're
So
not legal
we're-
experts, is
but
what
we're
I'm
adults.
saying. Yeah. Don't take this as
Speak
advice.
for yourself, sunshine.
I've been avoiding adulthood for years.
Odyssey. I got Odyssey for last Christmas and still haven't played it.
It's alright.
I haven't even set the Switch
You
up.
can probably complete it in an evening.
Do you reckon?
If you really try
Now
that.
I'm 100%. I'll go through and get all
The only
of
problem for you, mate, is Super Mario Odyssey aspects of horror.
Is there?
Yeah.
I done it with
terrifying.
Mario Galaxy 1. You get all, whatever's 160 stars as Mario. Bazinga, Luigi arrives, and you got to do then you do it again with Luigi, and he's one slippery mofo.
Have you
You like-
platinumed it, have you?
Yeah.
Platinum
Yeah, so you like run off, and Mario stops, but Luigi's like, woohoo! And you slide off the edge all the time. You're like, God damn it!
Because playing a hard mode with Luigi.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Jumps high.
Good to
He's
know.
fast, but he's slippery.
How do you know my tattoos?
I know a lot.
Especially where it's done.
Yeah. What happens in Bristol stays in Bristol.
So I've added this stuff onto my equipment list, but I don't actually know
That was
how...
what the break was for, Stu.
Well, I've done it. It's on my list. But I don't know how you...
We'll have a second break.
I've got no idea how you add it to my weapons. To, my abilities in... So...
I've no
Oh,
idea.
rubber.
No, that won't work because it's on the screen.
No.
And a razor.
No worries.
Looks like there used to be a rubber on both of
You've
these.
chewed them
Somebody's
up,
had
haven't you?
them. This is a borrowed pencil, you know. I wouldn't chew a borrowed pencil. Not an anarchist.
That was, funnily enough, the name of my first album.
Chewing the borrowed pencil.
Doing the borrowed pencil.
Would you chew a borrowed pencil?
That's what the other staff is called. The chewed borrowed pencil.
The staff of borrowed pencils.
Lovely. So
Okay.
you are bedding down for the night. It's getting late in the day now. Slightly darker inside. You're starting to feel the chill. We're going into the cold season of Asher.
Grey spell.
The grey spell. I call it the cold spell. I was wrong. The grey spell. The grey spell's really starting to catch now. You're starting to get very cold in the evenings. It's probably early grey spell at this point. So you will notice that it's starting to get very cold. Is anyone doing anything in particular? No? You hear odd conversation. Sorry.
I said, no.
No. You hear the odd conversation every now and again. There's people, obviously, the people who live at Dark Point seem to work fairly gruelingly all the time. Even during the night, there seems to be a fair amount of commotion. So there's only 20, 30 people who live here. They seem to fish round the clock. And yeah, there doesn't seem to be like a day-night cycle. They seem to be working all the time. You don't really know why. Has anyone taken a look at this clay pot at all and what its contents are within?
Negative.
I'll have a look.
Yeah, it's a relatively dark liquid. It's kind of thick and viscous. Smells fermented. Oddly sweet. Yeah, it seems like some kind of fermented beverage. It's obviously meant as an alcoholic drink for an evening.
I'll have a small cup.
Yeah, it tastes like what the player would know is a bit like cough syrup. It's fairly thick.
Jägermeister.
Yeah, a bit like, a bit like Jägermeister. It's obviously some kind of herb.
Brewed from fish.
You don't know that to be true. You don't know that to be true, but it tastes herbal.
I'm getting cod.
Whether the herbs were there originally or whether they covered the taste of something else is not sure. But it's obviously alcoholic. It's fairly weak alcoholic beverage. The closest thing you're probably used to alcohol content-wise and its taste was, I imagine, Echo, you'd have had small beer, so the kind of beer that you would drink during the day or like even for breakfast.
Small beer for breakfast.
Small beer. It's like a very low, only minor kind of fermented beverage.
Okay.
So it's kind of very low percentage. Kind of modern, an ancient equivalent to something like shandy.
Like
Yeah.
alcohol-free Copperberg.
Like an alcohol-free Copperberg.
No,
Thank
but-
you for sponsoring us, Copperberg.
Jack
If
would
you're
like-
gonna send us lots, though, send the right one.
Yeah, if you can send us a lot of the alcohol therein, that'd be great.
Yeah. And then maybe without Copperberg.
Yeah. Well, that's sponsorship.
Well, that's another sponsor.
We're back with Thatchers. Come on, Thatchers. The only real cider of the Southwest, which is their slogan.
It's not, is it?
It is now.
Made that up. I've no idea what the slogan of Thatchers is. Answers on a postcard, if you wouldn't mind. Probably should know.
box, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Just throw them in the sea, they'll find us.
Marvellous. So yeah,
While we're just spending time together, I think we'll just naturally, we were discussing Wesley's Wesley's story.
Oh yes.
And I'd imagine we'd spend time. It's the longest time we've sat down for a while, just discussing some of Phineas's stories as well.
What would you like to know about Phineas's stories?
I think it would come naturally over the evening.
Yeah.
I think it would. Where have you come from? You're from Equa like I.
Yeah, not, I would guess, from the same sort of social circle as you. Being a half-elf, you're neither one thing or the other. I've always sort of lived on the outside of it, which has come in useful in my previous lives. Bit of this.
How many lives do half-elves have?
Well, I'm using lives in the sense of roles that I've had over the years, rather than actual physical different existences. It doesn't mean anything to Wesley, does it?
And what was it that led you to come this way?
It's something that I'd rather not go into too much detail about, but I'm supposed to be keeping an eye on our canine friend. Not obviously doing a great
Where-
job at the moment.
Where has he gone? Did he come out of the mouth?
No.
Did he see the bone? Big fish bone.
Yeah, we're trying to
He's
think. That's a
gone.
very good point. I hadn't mentioned where Felix's
I've
whereabouts.
seen the Castons.
Yeah.
Little cheeks.
Retconning slightly, you saw both
So-
Caston and Felix emerge from the mouth, and Felix disappeared as well.
Okay.
I was commissioned to basically assist Felix in whatever he was doing, and as he was involved with you, so I have become so.
But before that,
Before that,
what led you to that point?
the specifics of leading me to that point is something that I really, really don't feel comfortable talking about. But suffice to say, I've over the years, I haven't covered myself in glory sometimes, but I've tried to stick more or less to the straight and narrow. I've been involved with some rather shady people over the years, something which I thought I'd left behind me, but these things always seem to have a way of catching you up. I'm not on any great path of redemption or anything like that, but I am trying to do my best in the world.
And were you always for hire? You always...
Pretty much, yeah. I suppose you could say I've led a fairly mercenary existence most of my life. It's difficult when you're a half-elf. It's even more difficult when you've been trained in the ways that I have to be in society. So I've always sort of been on the fringes somewhat. But I've had a good life, more or less, up to a point when things went Yeah, stuff that I don't want to talk about.
Okay, I respect that.
But I will stand by you. The path that you're going on. I mean, when I first arrived, my only concern was Felix, but I've got involved, for better or for worse, and so I'm in it for the duration. Of course, it would help if I could actually keep an eye on Felix as well at the same time, but the little bugger has a habit of wandering off. I blame that halfling.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm here. I'm in it for the duration.
I guess we'll go to sleep.
Yeah. Has anybody decided to take what? It's fairly busy here. There's a lot of people bustling around, but if you want to take a watch, you can do.
No need for that.
You won't need to sleep at all, but you only have to meditate half as much as anyone else anyway. Forget half elves do sleep, I believe.
Yes.
Can't
But
immediately remember. I think you sleep. I don't know if you sleep half as much as everybody else.
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you.
don't remember.
But I think,
I'll read it. I'll check it.
given my past and my history, I think I kind of tend to sleep with one eye open anyway.
Holding your pillow tight.
Yeah. In case I have to exit.
Lovely. If Jack's checking out in the background, that's lovely. Can't find it. So then, the night passes pretty easily. We won't dither too much on the details. You hear the hustle and bustle, the odd shout, but it's all between kind of these individuals.
Occasional twang of a harpoon.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. There's nothing. The one thing you do hear that's slightly unsettling is this very large bloatfish, as it's called, at some point starts being processed. By that, it's obviously being cut up.
I've seen Obi-Wan, I know what this is
Yeah,
about.
exactly. So it's that kind of stuff. It's being kind of cut up and kind of sheared into pieces. There's a lot of kind of wet smacking sounds that are all kind of unpleasant when you're trying to sleep. On top of that, there's people jeering and laughing and kind of generally working. Doing sleep, that's good. So it's not a very pleasant night's sleep. Conditions can be described as squalid, to use the official D&D term. Which means that if you were to live here for a fairly long period of time, you'd probably become unwell. That's kind of the level we're talking. But yes, it is squalid conditions. But you know what? You're not in a tent, which arguably is a good thing. You know,
Agree.
exactly.
I hate
So,
camping.
so you're. But the
How
night.
do you know?
I hate camping.
Likewise.
So the night, passes without much undue course and failure, really. Elantrix, you've slept, well, meditated less than the rest. Is there anything you're doing while the rest are sleeping? You kind of probably have about 4 hours in which you're not doing much. You can hear these odd kind of wet smacking sounds go on through most of the night.
She's probably going to clean up her gear a bit because it's probably been through various grotesque situations.
You notice the odd bit of tarnishing here or there. It's probably to do a good job would be difficult, but you can kind of polish
That's
it up
an understatement.
A little.
Tarnished.
But yeah, it's not quite rusted, which is good. Obviously, it's very fine work, so it's unlikely to rust, but he does need a good look after. Marvellous. In the early morning, you know it's the early morning because the sun is coming up. Ash is fairly regular with its celestial bodies, so you kind of, those of you that have not been raised in a small box will know that when the sun comes up, it's round about early morning. In early morning time, you are awoken to a few odd sounds, fair amount of commotion, people talking, perhaps what can be fairly obvious is you're kind of stirring and open your eyes and being aware. Obviously, Lantric's very aware. Some kind of commotion going on about. Doesn't seem usual. It seems like there's kind of like hushed voices and kind of a little bit of excitement going on.
Sounds to me like a surprise party.
He'll try and get whatever glimpse she can of what's going on through whatever windows or cracks she can find in the building.
There's a lot of them, so yeah, not too bad. You notice that this spikefish has almost been picked clean. There's a kind of a huge skeletal mass left.
Efficient.
But yeah, they have been efficient in how they've removed it. They've obviously been working through the night. There are obvious cubes, and they are fairly well-sized cubes in kind of three major piles. One seems to be mostly gristle and fat. In cuboidal form. One is meaty. If you imagine kind of a foot by foot cube of tuna, that's kind of what you're looking at. There's obviously a pile that is other stuff. Miscellaneous bones, gristle. Parasite piles, yeah, all kinds of stuff going on.
Thrones.
Yeah, bits of throne, the body of some kind of deranged amphibian creature.
Yeah.
You'll notice that of the bits that have been processed, they obviously have left most of the tail section. Unsure why, but that's kind of been left. You know, they just haven't got around to it yet. But it's obviously the front half, which is the tail section is still in the water. They've only winched it kind of 2/3 up. This is as you know, a huge creature. So these piles are incredibly large. We're talking kind of 20 feet across, 20 feet tall, kind of pile of visceral material.
To fit in with convention, I will, as glimpsing this, I will state that therein lies a tail.
Nice. However, as you look about, there's a small gathering of people towards what you can only assume there isn't like an obvious entrance to this village. It's not like it's paved or anything like that, but there's a small opening. There seems to be a small gathering of people there. You have noticed that Arthur, or Half is his name, does a lot of the talking. You're not really sure why, but you can hear his voice audibly, but you can't quite make out what he's saying. He's obviously having a conversation, a fairly strained conversation with someone.
Okay.
Should we go find out what's going on?
Yes.
Let's.
From a stealthy distance.
Yeah. You actually want to make yourself unseen?
I can do stealthy.
I'm not very stealthy.
Yeah, you get.
I can do stealthy. I'll stealth up.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll stealth up and try and find out what's going on without being seen.
Absolutely.
I can roll for stealthy if you want.
Absolutely, please do.
I'd rather not roll for stealthy.
Yeah.
It's only an 8.
I think we can subconsciously influence how kind Ollie is to us with jolly music.
I think so.
Jolly
Yeah.
music.
But if I played like some horrible doom kind of laden
everyone's
music.
You know what it is next Tuesday, don't you? It's Halloween.
It's Halloween.
On the day.
It's Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Everybody got their costumes ready?
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's got
It's
to be
on
a
the
dress up
day.
day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on the day.
It's on
Tuesday.
the day.
Tuesday's
Yeah.
Halloween, yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah, it's dress up.
I've
Dress
got a
up day.
treat.
Dress up Tuesday.
I'm coming as a resurrected 80s zombie scouser.
Are you?
I bought a shell suit, legit from the 80s and the 90s. That's why I'm growing a beard, so I can grow a
Wow.
moustache. I'm
That
going to
is-
shave it off to have a tash.
Incredible. What did you
Yeah.
say you rolled for stealth?
A mere 8.
An 8. Cool.
Just sexy zombie. Okay.
Sexy
course, yeah.
zombie.
Yeah.
I'll come
Tricks.
as a redneck. Oh wait.
Mission accomplished.
All I
Roll.
need is a gun.
Yeah.
Hang on,
You
let me
don't
just
know
knock
that
out
I
a
don't
couple-
have on me.
knock out a couple of teeth. Hold on. Hold still.
Lovely. So you sneak up on this collection of people.
Why are you
Don't worry
reading?
about
Why are
this.
you reading this?
This is
manual?
fine.
No shapeshifters.
There's a collection of people. Some may look your way, but there's a collection of people. A lot of people seem to be sleeping. They've obviously been taking shifts. There's probably about 10 people, a collection of people. Half, who's a very big, burly individual, can be clearly seen as kind of like the centre of a semicircle of people. You can't really make out who he's talking to until you strain yourself really far, and that's because the thing is fairly short. It's actually a collection of things. There are 3 spherical things. They look like kind of like a ball, but they have almost like a Mohican of what almost look like valves from a trumpet that go down the back of their kind of heads. Two very spindly legs with kind of a little kind of steel or some kind of polished metal feet at the end of them. And kind of two spindly arms with 3 forefingers and what looks like a thumb that kind of comes up the back. One very large eye that's kind of glassy. You call it an eye, but it's kind of like a glass lens that's kind of stuck on the front of this thing. And there's 3 of those. There is a larger thing there, and it's kind of like an upturned pyramid, like an upside down pyramid. It's got many legs. 6 legs to the kind of each face of the pyramid, and it has one kind of arm that comes out of each of the 3 faces of the pyramid. It's got one of these lenses on either side that look almost like it's looking all around. The more disconcerting thing about this one is in each of its hands, of which there are 3, it seems to hold a spear. Like I say, it's quite a bit larger. It's kind of probably torso-sized. Is kind of the top of it, and again made out of like a brassy steel. Again, at its top there's kind of these trumpet-like valves. They're making a noise that you're not entirely sure is language from the distance you're at. Half's obviously having a very difficult time communicating, and you're not entirely sure why that is. You can hear his heavily accented voice, and you're not really sure what they're talking about. But that's what you see.
I'm going to de-stealth. I'm just going to march up.
Yeah.
Good morning, Half. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for some bloody sane conversation all of a sudden.
Oh, thank you for the loan of your abode.
Oh, that's absolutely fine, mate. You didn't see my partner about, did you? He was a little bit funny about it all, you know, you not being common folk.
Oh, that was the one that was dropping the stuff off.
Doxy, yeah.
Ah, yeah.
He's a good lad. He's just a bit sensitive, you know.
Yeah. Well, tell him thanks.
I will, yeah.
Thanks for the. I don't know what you call them around here. The
Oh, the Blackwater.
Is that what you call them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, not bad.
It's not bad, is it? Gets you off to sleep, like.
No, I meant the
Oh, the
prawny thing.
rockfish.
The rockfish.
Oh, yeah, the
you-
rockfish.
Ah, yeah, very good. Thank you.
No worries, anytime.
You seem to be having
Ah,
a spot of bother.
yeah, they came up the hill just this morning. I've no idea what they want, but they seem to be in an awful hurry about it. They do look, and as they look at you, they obviously regard you. You notice, it's kind of disconcerting, actually. You're probably not a person who indulges in fear quite a lot, but it's quite a strange thing to behold. You've seen automatons before in stone form. These are obviously some kind of mechanical creature. As you look at it, the valves along the centre of their heads, the little spherical ones, of which there are 3, kind of depress slightly and come back up. As they all turn to you in unison, one face of the pyramidal structure and all face of the 3 structures, all of these lenses, you just see them shine in the light ever so slightly, and it seems like they revolve just a little bit.
I will sort of lean forward, hands on knees, kind of thing. And hello, what might you be then? Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to happen.
Do the little valves?
They do, yeah. They depress.
Nice.
What we need here is somebody who speaks funny languages. Or knows devices. I will call out to my companions. Beckon them over.
So do you guys whether you want to make an appearance or not?
Sure.
You encounter the same thing. One by one, as you emerge, the same thing happens. They all immediately look to one of you. You see the slight rotating of the lens, and then another one of you, and you see the slight rotating of the lens again. If you're walking at them, you do notice the lens continues to rotate as you get close. It's kind of weird to behold. You won't have seen anything like this before in any way you've been. Even in Equa, where like gnomish mechanical devices are seen, often traded, both in public and in the black market. These are a little odd, especially something of this size and kind of this level of automation.
I'll say to half, are they always like this?
Well, we saw them a couple of days ago. Funny little creatures, aren't they? But they just won't leave. They keep making these funny noises. They try to make the whole way to camp, but we just thought we'd stop them and try and figure out what was going on. You notice, particularly when they see you, Elantrix, they all kind of they do look to Wesley, seem to track him for a little bit. One of the little spherical creatures, just keep his kind of lens trained on you, and all the rest of them do look back to you and remain fixed on you. You notice as well that they seem to almost like dip down ever so slightly by about 6 inches and come back up. No idea why.
Yeah.
I'll lean down and just tap one of them on the top of the head.
To find out if it's hollow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes like a dull, brassy, hollow sound. Funnily enough, as you do that, it kind of recoils from you, and you notice as it moves its spindly arms, it's almost like watching stop motion. They kind of go up in steps. It's still fluid, it's still movement in the right direction, but it just seems to go in very quick succession.
I'm picturing Yes Man from Fallout 3, or Fallout New Vegas.
I'm afraid. Sorry, can I get the reference? I'm sorry.
Okay, that's good. Play it.
I should, yeah.
She's going to try and Elantrix will try and examine, see if they've got any like writing on them, and particularly probably Gnomish and Elvish are the most likely.
Absolutely, yeah. Give it a. You probably would notice a fairly obvious one. So written across the front of all of them in this kind of like dot and dash language made up of little squares. It's obviously Gnomish when you look at it. You can read Gnomish fluently, I imagine. It does say Stiltmire across all of them. Which is a fairly obvious, it's not really a hallmark, it's like an ostentatious advertisement written across the front. For those of you that read Gnomish, it's almost like deliberately sprawled across the front of the device. There doesn't seem to be any Elvish on them as far as you can make out, probably because these were made for work rather than sale. You'd imagine if they were made to be sold, they'd be all in Elvish.
Underneath in really tiny writing it says made in China.
She's going to try and address them in Gnomish and say to one of them, where is Stiltmire?
All the three, one of which is still looking at you, Wesley, and kind of just training this lens on you repeatedly. You don't know what it's doing, but it's kind of just tracking you. The other two spherical creatures in this pyramidal, upside down pyramidal shape, all looking at you, Elantrix. The two spherical ones don't make any more noises as soon as you've arrived. They've become silent. The larger one amongst them makes a deeper sound. Can you make some kind of check that would be communicating with a mechanical device that can only speak in woodwind?
I don't know if I have that.
Yeah, if you've got that, that'd be...
maybe insight?
Yeah, an insight check. That's a great
it's probably about as close as we can get.
Yeah.
10.
10. It's not bad. When you listen really carefully, you notice that each one of these notes is actually made up of several sounds. You kind of smile, and you think, well, it's up to you if you smile. It's slightly humorous why this is happening, because within those little notes, they seem to match up to the dots and dashes of written Gnomish language. It's obviously deliberately written as some kind of puzzle or code. So as you listen to it, you can almost make out that it's Gnomish. Only through the fact that it's like translating one set of data into another set of data that would then be Elvish. Almost as if somebody's written something in like a childish code and then written out. So it taxes your brain a lot, but they're speaking some form of encrypted Gnomish. What it's saying, you've no idea.
Yeah.
It would probably take some time to figure it out, but...
I want to enter Sandman just to kick in.
Do you have any idea what they want? She's saying to Half.
I've no idea. Came here this morning. We're looking around, just poking about a bit.
Have you ever been able to communicate with them?
No, they just kind of gave us a look over last time. They didn't bring the big one. We were a little bit worried with, all those arms and all those sharp objects, and figured they might be up for some trouble, but they don't seem to be.
Do gnomes have authority here?
Well, nobody has authority here. It's kind of the dead zone. Nobody really claims this land. Arguably, as everyone else is, we respond to the elves, but we're outside of the land officially. But it's not quite Shake-Up, and it's not quite the gnomish lands either. It's kind of falls between, Anyone who makes any real pass at that, if it's not the elves, of course, would be outright war, wouldn't it? So it's kind of the zone nobody touches.
I would nod and agree again. It's a bit like parcel tongue. He's like, I hear words, but I don't understand.
Yeah. Like the wasteland, nobody quite knows what to do with it.
Yeah.
It's not like it's arable out like that.
I shall lean into the pyramidal one and say, in the manner of an Englishman abroad talking to the locals.
You got to do their accent.
Yeah. With big gestures as well.
How do I do an accent of a thing that's talking in trumpet?
You got yourself into this mess.
We want to see Stiltmeyer.
He kind of regards you. He has to pan up to you a little bit, and you see this lens very quickly spin as it kind of gets you inside. Oddly enough, it passes one of its spears to one of its other hands, so it's holding two in one hand, and it just seems to gently probe about, kind of in your general person, and just kind of like looking around and feeling about to see. You're not really sure what it's doing. It's this weird, very thin. It's kind of got three fingers on the top, one thumb on the bottom. Almost feels like you're being kind of like checked over by a coat hanger. It's kind of what it feels like. Unsure, but it continues for a fairly protracted period of time. Unless you stop it, it will start going in your pockets and kind of like ferreting about.
Sexual
I
harassment.
don't think so.
Robot.
I don't think they see us as a threat.
Okay.
Are they threatening? Give them a push.
Let's see if they come with us. Thank you for your hospitality. Half. Not you.
Oh, it's going to be like this all day.
We'll get on our way and see if these things will follow us.
Sure. Yeah. I should explain. You're kind of going uphill slightly as you leave the village. So you kind of encountered these creatures, if they can be described as that, mechanical devices. As you crest the hill, you're kind of almost coming out of a basin. As you crest the hill, a fairly large expanse opens out around you. It's an early, fairly crisp morning. The grass is fairly dewy. You don't have a lot of this long grass that you've seen, this kind of metre-tall grass that you saw in the Elven lands. It's much sparser here and quite rocky. A couple of things dominate the skyline, if you like. To your left-hand side, which you probably identified already as being towards the east, there's this incredibly large wall. It stretches kind of in a bent shape, kind of bulges out towards you and then back round. And it's incredibly large. Some of you may have seen this before. It's quite clearly the wall of the Elven lands. It's the Elven wall that kind of blocks off the Elven lands. From where you're stood, you would estimate it's 3 days' travel away. That's kind of the distance of where you are. So it's fairly vast, but it is obviously there. You couldn't really figure out how tall it is, but it's bloody big, to use the Northernism. There is an obvious, very large gate in one wall. You can just about make out the gate. It's kind of like a dull material. Most of them have been out of a light material, but it's a fairly dull material. Nestled around it, a bit like an anthill, is some kind of collection of buildings around the outside, this side of the gate. And you're not really sure what that is. But you would estimate that's kind of 3 days' travel away. However, almost directly in front of you down the valley, there is a collection of very brightly coloured tents just kind of right at the bottom of the valley. In an obvious situation to be a fairly kind of 1 to 2 days travel from the gate, 1 to 2 days travel from elsewhere, and there's obviously this collection of brightly coloured tents, which is, you piece together, Stiltmire's cavalcade. That in itself, you've been told, is kind of 1.5 to 2 days away from where you are.
How big is the cavalcade? What kind of scale are we looking at?
It's a long distance away, but you can make out one very large, brightly coloured tent at its centre, and a collection of kind of larger tents around
20?
20
30
tents. From the distance, it's hard to tell. There's a collection. It's probably more than that. It's probably more like 40.
Would you say we're looking down?
It's a valley, so the whole thing stretches down. If you imagine this point of where the tents are to be almost the base of it, you are tracking not steeply, but kind of inclined downwards all the way down to where you are. Yeah. It should be said that it isn't flat ground, so it's a rocky outcrop. So there is plenty of things that shield your view, and while you can see this vast expanse because you almost stood at the precipice of the valley, there are lots of large boulders, large rock formations, bits of, particularly on this side towards the mountains. The astute adventurers of you will know lots of nooks and crannies to hide in, which is good and bad.
And what are these mechanoids doing? Are they bothered about us, or do they leave us be?
They at least one of them hasn't taken its eyes off Wesley, so it just tracks him the whole time, and we'll just keep going.
So they're following us.
No, they're just watching you from a. Well, one's watching Wesley from a distance. It's hard to know with the pyramidal one because it's got eyes on either side. So it could be looking at you, Lantrix. It could be looking at us. It could be looking at all of you. It's hard to tell. They haven't made any obvious movements so far. They do seem to have stopped trying to communicate with Half, though. That all of a sudden seems a lot less important than it was previously.
Well, we bid you adieu, and we'll head on out, I guess.
Good luck and all that. You know where we are if you ever want some fish.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your hospitality. Yeah, we're very grateful.
Pleasure, mate.
Away we go.
And away you go.
Onwards and upwards.
Yeah, so
Or
you start
downwards.
travelling down the side of this kind of rocky outcrop, really. It's not easy traversing. Like I say, it's slightly sloping away from you, which makes it fairly tiring on the knees as you kind of walk and trudge, if you like.
I'm keeping very aware of my surroundings.
Absolutely. You notice that some of these rocks are quite easily 3 times the size of an average human being. They're quite broad. Like I say, there's lots and lots of places to hide. All of a sudden, everything you've heard about banditry makes a whole lot of sense. If somebody was on their way to Shadecap and made a quick dash, they could probably get in here fairly quickly and disappear if they were good at such things fairly quickly. And if you were underpaid human guardsmen, you probably wouldn't care so much. You've done your job, they're on the opposite side of the wall, everyone's having a lovely time. So yeah, you can see where this is, where this reputation has come from.
And it's right here is the reason for why I hired you. So
Yeah.
thank you in advance.
I will eschew the crossbow for a while, and I'm going to have my new spear staff thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You're travelling for quite some time, probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes down this rocky outcrop. You do notice from behind you the slow, relatively rhythmic, in fact very rhythmic sound of 4 mechanical creatures that start descending. From the distance, it's hard to make out. It looks like one of them, each of the 3 smaller units, if you like, are carrying very large squares of what looks like tuna. Unsure if that's what they were sent to do or not, but that seems to be what they're doing, and they're coming down. They're not quiet creatures. They're quite loud, in fact. even from the distance you're at, which is probably half a mile at this point, you can hear them pretty damn loudly. They occasionally make a low hooting noise, almost like a series of jazz musicians going down the side of a rocky outcrop.
Or acid jazz as we know it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just in the distance, just a...
What do you say?
First time we've had a musical accompaniment to our adventures, isn't it?
What do you say we tail them and use them as the distraction, as it were?
Sounds good to me.
These old blighters have to be weaponised, don't they?
Well, they must be able to defend
This is
themselves.
known bandit country.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have sent them off, would you?
No,
Without
I think that's
anyone,
what
somewhere
the
of them.
I think that's what the triangle one's for.
The big boy
Yeah,
or girl.
I think he's
Or
their.
thing, I
I
don't
think
know.
he's their bodyguard, perhaps. Yeah, we'll let them. We'll let them go off. We'll pause and let them overtake. And
When you pause, are you specifically just waiting
yeah, just
for them to overtake
Standard.
you? Are you trying to be out of the way?
Yeah, shall we stealth? Let them not be aware of us as they.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll pick a point where we drop out of direct line of sight to them, and then hide ourselves out of the way.
You've got time, right? So what I will say is I'll allow you to group a stealth roll. What I mean by that is whoever's the stealthiest amongst you makes a roll, and we'll use that as a group stealth roll, because you're basically assisting everyone else in hiding.
Well, I've got
16.
a natural 20,
Marvellous.
which means 24 on my stealth.
Marvellous. So not only are you all hidden incredibly well, you realise again why this is bandit country, right? It's very, very easy to
We're
hide.
hiding behind a rock that's already got some people hiding behind it.
Oh, they haven't
no.
seen you. You're that stealthy.
Hello.
But what I will say is, as you're kind of hiding, you notice how, for example, the sound of the constructs coming down the hill changes. I.e., you notice that these rocks do odd things to sound, the way that kind of echoes around. You can still hear things, but you imagine in certain areas you could pretty much have a full-blown conversation and not be overheard, based on where you are, kind of the acoustics of how it works. This is probably going to be really important going forwards because it means that you'll be able to pinpoint certain locations where it'd be an obvious place for a group of people to hide uncovered. Equally, because you've noticed that as you're hiding, there are sudden dips in the ground that are quite deep, probably kind of 20 foot deep. You could probably light a fire in there and cover it and live there without anybody knowing you're there for days. So there's a lot. You start to learn a lot about the terrain purely through hiding where you are.
We should be very, very careful.
These creatures pass by. It gives you a little bit of time, Lantrix, while you're listening to listen in. You're pretty sure now you can piece together a conversation. They're having a chat with each other in what appears to be gnomish. The conversation's incredibly childlike. Whatever intelligence these creatures have been given is minor. They are very, very specific, and when they talk, they seem to exclaim their feelings before they do so. The only thing you can gather is they're incapable of communicating emotion because of the way in which they talk. The intonation doesn't have any emotion to it. So they seem to declare their emotion. So, for example, there's these two little circle things that are walking down the hill going... and it will sound a little bit when you translate it from one thing into another thing, as if it's, and you're kind of imagining a written script in your mind, because it's almost like written gnomish rather than spoken gnomish. It will say something like, angry. Number 3 always has to carry the heavy thing. To which you'll hear a retort go, surprised. Number 2 had to carry the heavy thing yesterday. It goes on like this. It's fairly minor, but they're talking. Occasionally you hear a low horn sound, and that noise is this kind of large pyramidal structure, to which you hear, angry. Please stop arguing. I have to do this all day.
I'll
You-
turn this car around.
You just see Delantrix sort of chuckling to herself.
Yeah. But it is very obvious that they have to communicate. And little odd things as well, like you notice little kind of strange conversations go on. For example, there's a and you hear inquiry. Why is grass green? To which they have a little conversation about kind of the earth around them. They seem to have no real concept of anything. They're very curious, but equally seem incapable of any kind of thought that hasn't already been told to them. Not only that, they seem to mention Stiltmire as kind of a source of knowledge, almost like a database. So they reference Stiltmire when they want an answer to something, and that will quite simply sound like, answer, Stiltmire says grass is green because it needs to breathe. And that's like the end of the conversation.
These things are not smart. But they have an intelligence.
You can understand them, can you?
I've studied quite a lot of language, less music, but
So they are speaking a language of sorts.
yes, they're like children.
Fair enough. You don't need your menials to be too clever, do you?
What do you mean by like children?
They're conversations.
I've never spoken with a child.
They're like... Imagine if you'd lived your whole life in a box and didn't know anything about the world.
I can relate to that.
Yeah,
Am I
bit like
child?
that. Your curiosities are childlike in their wonder. If you've not seen the world, then everything is new to you, and everything is curious. And that seems to be their perspective.
I like these people.
Maybe they're from the Bureau.
Possibly. I think you're from the Bureau. I think you're hiding something.
I'm not from the Bureau, so...
No, I don't know.
So, Wesley.
I think you're
Bloody
here
hell.
to check on my progress.
Phineas, can you make me an investigation check with advantage, please, based on the fact that you can hear incredibly well, based on what you know about the land around you?
Well, the first one was a natural 20, so that's
I'll take it.
24.
Oh, not easy. You can eat it.
The second one was an 8, but I'll take the 24.
I think the 24. You obviously don't have to strain your ears to hear this absolute avalanche of noise that's coming down the side. Like somebody's aggressively kicking a bagpipe down a flight of spiral staircase. Is probably more akin to the sound of noise.
Like 6 one-man bands.
Exactly. That's exactly what it sounds
All
like.
playing a different tune.
That is almost so obnoxious that it makes you want to listen to other things. In doing so, taking advantage of what I told you before, the acoustics of the area, and because you're kind of off the vague path, you overhear a conversation, and it kind of startles you at first, but you overhear a conversation. It's in common, and it's hushed. It's coming from fairly close, you'd say within 30 feet further down from where you are. The conversation is between two individuals. They're talking about Stiltmire's mobs, as they describe them, coming down the hill. You would imagine, shortly further down from where you are, something is laying in wait for these creatures.
I think.
They're heavily accented, but you can't quite make out the accent. It's some kind of what in common parlance we would call city trash accent. It's kind of like a mixture of different cities mixed into one.
I think there is an ambush just down the hill. I don't know whether they know we're coming or if they're lying in wait for these guys. Do we defend them? Might put us in favour with old Stiltmire.
I mean, these things... They're unlikely to feel in the same way that that we do. They're just constructions, are they not?
I guess so. Like I say, if we stop them getting destroyed, Stiltmeyer might be grateful.
But we don't yet know whether we need Saltmire. We just need the person who has...
Excuse me.
We believe that's where the stone is.
Are we looking for a stone? They're everywhere.
We're looking
Why?
for...
Why? How is it supposed to have heard about a stone?
Do you need the story of the chimes? We'll save it.
I don't think we have time right at the moment.
Inquiry. It's awfully quiet around here.
Foreshadowing, eh?
Do you want to get closer?
I'm going to go round.
We need to gauge the size of the ambush. If it's a few, then maybe we stop them. If it's many, then we have more important tasks, I'm afraid.
Well, yeah, but we've got to go that way anyway.
That's true, yes.
So I don't want us to be ambushed.
No.
What do I do? Let these guys trigger it? Or...
Oh, I don't know, Thamir.
Oh, right, okay. You follow these from a safe distance. I'm going to go around and try and come in behind the ambush. Using my 24 stealth,
Yes, that'll do it.
I am going to
Glide effortlessly
yes,
through the air.
from rock to rock,
Yeah.
stealthing my way in the direction of where I heard these voices.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Till I can get close enough to see them.
Yeah, you track through fair few rocky outcrops. With what you've rolled before, you can pretty much pinpoint where they are. They're kind of 3 rocks further down. There's another big rocky outcrop. There's one of these pits close by. You're pretty sure that's where they've been camping. As you get closer, you get an odd smell. Kind of a... no, you get an odd smell of... I'm trying to describe it in a fantasy word. Let's just say a combustible material.
Mm-hmm.
You know why as soon as you peek around this rocky outcrop, because you see 4 halflings all gathered together. Laid around their person are small bottles of liquid with little rags poking out the top.
Oh no.
Molotov cocktail.
Yeah, they're all wearing leather armour. They've got relatively large knives on them.
Large for a halfling.
Yes,
Large.
Yeah, large.
Tiny little.
It's a vegetable peeler. I'll get you.
Yeah, they kind of look like kind of somewhere between bill hook and kind of short sword.
Bill who?
Okay.
Bill hook. It's like a farming implement.
Oh, is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Okay, so from this distance I can tell that none of them are Caston, but they look a bit like Caston.
Yeah. That's kind of the vibe you get.
So I can put 2 and 2 together and... Oh, God.
How far away are we?
about 30 feet from
Bloody hell.
where the halflings are camped. About 30 feet.
Okay. I'm not stealthed. I should be stealthed.
You're
but
all
we did a group.
group stealth, so you're effectively going on Thanaeus' 24 right now.
Okay, and do they look like they're? Can I see them? Do they look like they're about to just murder these?
You can't see them if you haven't moved. You can't see them if you track up on them from Thanaeus' vantage point. Yeah, they're gonna do it.
Okay.
Possibly, most probably with fire.
I will sort of... I'll
look
back,
Exactly.
I'll look
Maybe
back
that's what they
towards it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's gonna cast.
Bloody old cast. You need, man.
She's gonna cast Calm Emotions,
Yeah, sure.
which is a level
Why
2.
don't you just fix it with magic?
Yeah, which is a level 2 spell.
Of course. Oh.
the
Bum.
they need each humanoid in a 20-foot radius. Well, I would do this assuming they were in a 20-foot radius to
You
one
have to be a
another.
bit closer, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can cast it from 60 feet, but they have to be within 20 feet of each other.
Absolutely, yeah. The three
Okay.
huddled together
Yeah.
within whispering distance. So, yeah.
Yeah, so she's going to cast Calm Emotions on them.
Yeah.
Which, as soon the closer, but she's going to leave to the last possible moment because it's in effect for 60 seconds, basically. So once cast, we need to get through nice and quickly with these trumpet fools. Are we on a we're on a fucking escort quest here. That's what we're on.
I'm going to try and signal to you.
Pierce the veil. This is just an escort quest.
Really? Yeah, okay.
This isn't original in any way. I demand a rewrite.
She's going to cast it. Each one needs to save a charisma save. Make a charisma save.
I'll give it a go. That's against, I'm guessing DC 14.
13.
Oh dear. Well, that's pissed on my cornflakes because I was going to blow him to Kingdom Come.
Well, we don't know how this has gone. We don't yet know how this has gone.
What is the effect on a failure? Is the best way to describe it.
The opposite of what you were trying to achieve. Suddenly, two of them become really angry.
No, I mean, if they have, if one of them was to fail their roll, what would that look like?
I can make a target indifferent to creatures of my choice that they're hostile toward.
Yeah. A strange thing happens in that two of them, of the three, seem to kind of just slump back, relax a little bit. And they're obviously having a conversation with the third amongst them, who seems incredibly irate. Doesn't seem to understand what's going on. So there's obvious confusion. Some slight pushing is involved. They're obviously having a bickering argument. It's definitely enough to distract them from what they're supposed to be doing. But you're unsure what the actual effect is. But they're obviously having arguments. Then as you're close enough to hear them, two of them are like, "Hey man, maybe we should just not go through the whole thing. They seem like cool guys." And the third one's like, "You're a complete idiot. I don't know what you're talking about."
What have you been smoking?
Yeah, so we just need to hurry these things through as quickly as possible. So I think we might just push them along.
Yeah,
Come
I'm
on,
going to follow the lead. This is
come on.
Yeah, if you want to do that.
Yeah, why not? I mean, what?
Sort of shoo them along.
How can we make this situation any more ridiculous? Come on. Hup. Yeah, foot.
You kind of push them and they do kind of like hurry along a little bit. And they're kind of marking around. Funnily enough, the large pyramidal structure makes out like a low trumpeting sound, which you immediately would translate as relief. As you push these creatures forward, seems grateful that it's not the only one performing this task. But yeah, you can pretty much get a quick trot out of them.
Good.
Trip march as they go.
We'll be doing that for 60 seconds.
One of them occasionally like slips with this block of tuna and has to pick it back up again. And they're kind of like, one of them eventually will start walking off to one side. The big pyramidal structure has to poke it with a spear back in. The spear, as you notice, is kind of got almost like a half crescent shape on it. It's definitely a bladed implement for attacking things, and also seems to be for guiding shepherding these smaller creatures back onto what they're supposed to be doing.
I could use my spear to shepherd them if I like.
Yeah, we'll be sort of pulling and pushing and as much we can. And if we can go about 30 foot every 6 seconds, roughly,
that's probably about right.
That's about 300 foot by the time a spell runs out. So that's a good distance.
That's a good distance. Yeah. Enough distance for people to think differently about the situation. So congratulations. However,
I knew there was going to be a however.
It's still a fair distance between where you are and where you need to be, and these creatures aren't getting any quieter. But they are moving at quite a trot now, which is good. Apart from the occasional dropping of tuna blocks, people wandering off the wrong way.
We can't keep doing this.
I can, literally, twice more.
So looking back,
Exhaustion. This block is very heavy.
I don't know why I'm saying that. I have no idea what it's talking about. I'm looking back over my shoulder, making sure we're not being followed by.
Don't seem to be.
Angry.
Yeah, it was obviously a laid plan that has been foiled. It doesn't seem to be, and you've no idea what's happened there. They could have just had an all-out brawl, but it seems to be behind you now.
Far off in the distance, there's a. That's a Molotov cocktail goes off.
You're tracking further down. If you
Right,
want you
just
make a perception check for me.
You're terrible at perception checks, aren't you? Ooh. Would you like to do a perception check?
6.
I've just finished my concentration. I'm in a stressful situation here.
Where's
As you walk a bit further down, it's obvious why you failed that perception check, and that is because there is a cacophony of noise that is happening around you. Like somebody taking several clarinets and attaching them to a bellows. That's kind of what's happening. What's even worse is it seems these creatures will start arguing with each other. As soon as they can only communicate in very basic concepts, arguments are incredibly long and very specific. So it's painful for your guys' ears, and probably more painful for Lantrix that can actually understand what they're trying to say to each other. This accumulates with one of them dropping their tuna block and slapping one of the others, that then drops their tuna block and sits down on top of it with its arms folded and refuses to move.
Oh, God. We're going to end this session in
Elantrix will know
Stooges.
that it was number 3 that hit number 2, and number 2 that sat down, because number 2 has said that he will not move until he consults what he describes as the Stiltmire Union. At this point, 2 fairly large burly men in black leather armour step out from the rocky outcrop in front of you, and 2 also step out from behind you. One of them bears what can only be described as an incomplete set of teeth, and states, "Well, howdy there. I think you found yourselves on the tall road." And with that, we'll end tonight's session.
On the tall road.
Thank you, Oliver.
The toll road to deliverance.
Thank you very much, everybody. It's been wonderful seeing you all. Thank you for checking in. We will probably be around the same time next week for a spooky adventure. Is it when's Halloween? It's not next week.
It is next week.
It's next
Tuesday. Next week.
Wow.
It's Halloween on the Tuesday.
Wow.
Yeah, hope you're all dressed up
I
watching
hope
us.
you're all dressed up. Apparently, we will be. So yeah, we'll
News to
see.
me, I've got a week to try and come up with something.
I'm thinking the same thing. I think I have a chicken costume. Is this entirely appropriate?
Carlos better be here. He's always got a good.
He's always got a good costume. I think we've actually got him recorded as Ash from Evil
The
Dead.
last time he was here, he was Ash from
Ash
Evil
from
Dead.
Evil
Yeah.
Dead, yeah, which was incredible.
Yeah.
This time it's going to be Ash from Pokemon.
The series, he only dresses up as Ash-based costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite impressive.
Yeah.
As we're in Asher.
Wow!
So good. So good.
Bazinga. With that, we will leave you with news that it's been an incredible episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Really loved it. Thank you to everyone who played. You've been a
Thank you,
wonderful
Ollie.
player
Thank you.
group, so thank you very much.
Ollie.
Until next time, we have been...
Dog.